The secret in the alien laboratory, was silent. But the silence was heavy, as if the walls themselves were holding a dangerous secret. Strange blue lights pulsed from the machines, casting long shadows across the floor. The smell of burning metal lingered in the air, and the hum of unstable energy echoed from the center chamber. The alien scientist stood near a console, his thin hands trembling as he pressed keys again and again. His breathing was sharp and shallow. His large eyes reflected fear, not the confidence of a genius who once created wonders. He whispered to himself, almost in prayer, "Please, make it stop growing." His voice cracked. "I can't hide it anymore." At that very moment, the heavy steel door hissed open, and a human soldier stepped inside. His boots echoed loudly on the metallic floor. He looked around the lab, confused by the call he had received in the dead of night. "You asked me to come here?" the human said, his tone both suspicious and calm. "Why the secrecy?" The alien scientist froze, his throat dry. He turned slowly, as if each movement carried the weight of guilt. His hands shook, and his voice came out broken. I needed someone I could trust, someone not from my world." His eyes locked on the human's steady gaze. "I've made a mistake, a terrible mistake." The human narrowed his eyes and stepped closer. He had seen fear before, in wars and battles. But this fear was different. It was not the fear of death. It was the fear of something unnatural. "What mistake?" the human demanded, his voice cut through the tension like a blade. The alien scientist hesitated, then walked toward a sealed chamber at the far end of the room. The chamber was tall, filled with steam. The human noticed the glass shaking slightly. As if something inside was alive, the alien pressed a code into the console, and the foggy glass cleared. The human's jaw tightened. Inside the chamber was a shape, not clear, but large. Its outline was shifting, its chest moving slowly with heavy breaths. The creature's skin glowed faintly, and every second it seemed to expand. Pressing against the walls, the human took a step back. "What is that thing?" he asked. The scientist's voice broke. "It was supposed to be harmless," he confessed. His words stumbled out quickly, as if they had been trapped inside him for too long. "It's a simple genetic project, an experiment in growth and healing." His hands covered his face, but it changed. It became something else. He pointed a trembling finger at the glass. "It won't stop growing, and soon I won't be able to contain it." The human stared, his instincts screaming danger. "Why didn't you destroy it when you could?" he asked. The alien lowered his head, shame burning in his voice. "Because I thought I could fix it. I thought I could control it. I wanted to prove myself to the council. I wanted recognition." But now his voice dropped into a whisper. "If they find out, they will execute me." The chamber rattled again, a low, guttural sound rumbling from within. The creature's eyes flickered open for a brief second, glowing like fire in the dark. The human's muscles tensed as he reached for the blade at his side. His instincts told him that the glass would not hold much longer. The scientist clutched the human's arm desperately. "Please," he begged, "you must help me. I cannot stop it alone. I cannot even admit what I have done." His words spilled out in panic. "If the council sees this, they will destroy me before they even think about destroying it." The human pulled his arm free and glared at the alien. "You played with life like it was a toy," he said. His voice was sharp. "And now you want me to clean up your mess?" The alien dropped to his knees, his body trembling. "Yes," he admitted. "Because you are human, you don't understand what that means here. You are not bound by their laws. You can do what I cannot. Please, make it stop growing." The human turned back toward the chamber, his heart beating hard. The glass groaned, cracks forming like thin spiderwebs. Something inside pressed harder, breathing louder. A deep growl shook the air, the machines around Them flickered. Unable to hold the energy, the human clenched his fists, his mind racing. He could feel the weight of the alien's desperation and the shadow of something far worse rising behind the glass. He stepped closer, his eyes locked on the creature that was now beginning to stretch its limbs, its body no longer a blur, but a monstrous outline. The alien scientist whispered behind him. "I can't hide it anymore. If anyone else finds out, it will be too late. Please stop it before it destroys us all." The human's jaw tightened. He didn't answer. Not yet. He only stared into the glowing eyes behind the cracking glass, and in that moment, he understood this was not just an experiment gone wrong. This was the beginning of something far more dangerous. Something that could consume everything if he failed. The chamber groaned again, and a final, sharp crack echoed through the lab. The lights flickered, alarms began to scream, and the human stepped forward, ready to face whatever was about to emerge. The human learns the truth. The alarms screamed inside the alien laboratory, red lights flashing across the walls like angry eyes. The human stood firm, his hand resting on the blade at his side. The alien scientist trembled behind him, his fingers clenching together as though trying to hold his body from falling apart. The glass chamber shook violently, and a deep crack zigzagged down the middle. Then, silence. For a single heartbeat, the entire room froze. The machines stopped humming. The alarms cut off. Even the scientist stopped breathing. The human's eyes narrowed as he kept his gaze fixed on the chamber. Something inside shifted. A long, low exhale vibrated through the air. And then it stopped. The alien scientist swallowed hard. "It knows," he whispered, his voice shaking. "It feels us watching. It is." Aware, the human turned sharply to him. "What do you mean, it knows?" The scientist clutched his chest, his words spilling out like broken glass. "This creature no. This mistake kit was never supposed to reach awareness. It was meant to be a tool, nothing more. A creation to heal wounds, repair broken tissue, and help my people survive injuries that would kill us." His eyes watered, but the genes, the sequences, they twisted, and then it started changing faster than I could study it. Every day it grew, and with each growth, its brain developed too. The human's jaw tightened. "So you made a living thing and trapped it." His voice was cold, cutting. "And now it thinks, it feels, and it's angry." The scientist staggered closer, gripping the human's arm desperately. "You don't understand. It's not just alive, it's powerful. Far beyond anything we've seen. My people cannot know this. If they find out, they'll destroy me before they destroy it. Please, you must help me. You're not bound by their laws. You can end this. You can stop it." The human shoved him back gently, but firmly. His eyes never left the chamber. "What exactly did you put in it?" The alien lowered his head, shame dripping from every word. "I used human DNA," he confessed. His voice was so quiet, it nearly vanished beneath the lab's flickering lights. "That's why I called you. That's why I begged for you to come. It responds to your kind. It carries something inside it that links back to you." The human's heart skipped. His mind raced as he studied the shifting outline inside the chamber. The creature's head tilted, almost as if it was listening. To them, the human's voice hardened. "You mean this thing is part human?" The scientist nodded quickly. "Not fully, not even half, but enough. Enough that it shares some of your traits, enough that it might fear you. I don't know. I only know I can't control it, and every attempt to hide it has only made it stronger." His eyes darted nervously to the cracking glass. "If it gets out, nothing on this world will be able to stop it." The chamber groaned again, and the creature's glowing eyes snapped open. This time, fully awake. They locked onto the human. Its gaze wasn't wild or mindless, it was sharp, intelligent, aware. The human felt a chill crawl up his spine. It was looking directly at him, not the scientist, not the machines, just him. Suddenly, the creature pressed its massive hand against the glass. The surface buckled, but didn't yet break. The human saw the shape of claws forming. Too long, too sharp, each finger stretched unnaturally, as though the body itself was deciding what form it wanted. The scientist panicked, rushing to the console. His hands flew across the keys. "I can still reinforce the chamber. I just need the—" Console sparked violently, smoke bursting from the circuits. The creature slammed its hand against the glass again, and the whole chamber tilted, bolts screeching as they tore loose. The human pulled the scientist back just in time as a spider web of cracks raced across the glass. He held his blade tight, eyes narrowing. His voice was steady, even in the chaos. "If this is part human, then maybe it understands me." He stepped closer, ignoring the alien's screams of protest. "Listen," he said, speaking toward the glowing eyes. "If you can hear me, stop this." For a moment, the creature froze, its breathing slowed. Its claws flexed against the glass, but didn't strike again. The alien scientist gaped in shock. "It's listening," he whispered. But then, the creature's lips peeled back in something close to a smile, twisted and terrifying. Its chest expanded, and with one final roar, it smashed its entire body against the glass. The chamber shattered into 1,000 pieces. Energy surged through the room. Machines exploded in showers of sparks. The human shoved the alien to the ground and rolled aside as the creature landed. The floor shook under its weight. It stood tall, its body unstable but terrifying. Glowing veins running across its skin. It wasn't fully formed, but it was strong enough. Its head turned toward the human, eyes burning like fire. The alien scientist crawled backward, his voice cracking with terror. "Please, kill it." Before it, the human raised his blade but didn't strike. He locked eyes with the monster, searching for something beyond rage. "What are you?" he demanded. The creature tilted its head, and in a voice rough but clear, it spoke its first words, words that froze the room. "Father," it said, staring at the human. The alien scientist screamed, his mind breaking under the weight of his creation's voice. The human stood motionless, his heart pounding in his chest. He had fought wars, monsters, and enemies before, but never had he faced something that looked at him not as prey, not as an enemy, but as blood. The alarms blared. Again, louder this time. The city above had detected the breach. Soldiers would come, and when they saw this creature, nothing would stop them from destroying both it and the scientist. The human tightened his grip on the blade, his eyes never leaving the monster that had just called him father. He knew the truth now. But the truth only made the choice harder. The creature awakens, the word echoed in the lab like thunder. "Father," the human froze, his blade steady but his heart pounding like a war drum. The alien scientist collapsed against the wall, his body trembling. His wide eyes were filled with horror. "No, no, it speaks. It should not speak," he muttered, his voice cracking. "It was never meant to." The creature stood in the broken remains of the glass chamber. Its glowing veins pulsed like rivers of fire across its shifting skin. Muscles twisted as if unsure of their shape, its eyes sharp, golden, and unblinking, remained fixed on the human, not the alien, not the alarms, only him, father. The creature said again. Its voice was raw, like stone grinding against stone. Yet beneath the roughness, there was something disturbingly human, something that carried a strange connection. The human tightened his grip on his blade, but did not attack. He could sense it watching him, not as prey, but as something else, something confused, something searching. The scientist crawled forward, his hands shaking. "Do not listen," he cried. "It is manipulating you. It is not your child. It is a weapon, a monster that must be destroyed. The creature tilted its head at the alien, a strange growl escaping its throat. Its form shifted again, bones cracking as its body expanded, its claws lengthened and its chest broadened. The sound of tearing flesh filled the air, but it did not cry out. It seemed to enjoy the transformation. The human's voice cut through the chaos. Steady and commanding. "Stop," he ordered. To the alien's horror, the creature hesitated. Its growl softened, its claws stopped growing. It lowered its head slightly, like a child caught misbehaving. The human stepped closer, ignoring the scientist's desperate pleas to retreat. "You know me," the human said, his voice calm but firm. "Why?" The creature blinked slowly, then touched its own chest. "You." "Inside me," it said. "I." "From you," the alien scientist gasped, tears spilling down his face. "It understands," he whispered. "Oh no. It truly understands." The human's mind raced. He remembered the scientist's confession: human DNA, used recklessly, twisted, with alien sequences. Now, here was the result. A being that grew without end. A being that recognized him not as stranger, but as blood. The alarms above grew louder, signaling the approach of soldiers. The city had detected the breach. They would arrive soon. And when they saw this creature, they would unleash everything to destroy the scientist too. The scientist grabbed the human's arm, his voice desperate. "We cannot let it live. Do you hear me? If it leaves this lab, nothing will stop it. It will feed, it will grow, and soon it will crush this world. You must kill it now." The human pulled his arm free, his eyes never leaving the creature. His instincts told him the alien might be right, but another part of him saw something different. The creature wasn't attacking. It wasn't mindless. It was waiting. The human stepped even closer, his blade lowered slightly, but still ready. "If I'm inside you," he said, his voice low, "then you listen to me. You don't hurt anyone. Do you understand?" The creature tilted its head again, confusion flickering in its eyes. "No." "Hurt?" it repeated slowly, almost like a child learning language for the first time. For a brief moment, hope stirred in the human's chest. But then the floor trembled beneath them. Soldiers were already entering the lower levels of the lab. Their heavy boots pounded closer, weapons ready. The creature's body tensed. Its nostrils flared as it sensed the approaching danger. Its veins glowed brighter, and its claws began to grow again. "They come," it growled. Its voice rose in anger. "They kill me." The alien scientist panicked, waving his arms wildly. "Yes. Yes, they will kill you, and they should." He turned to the human, his voice breaking. "If you won't stop they will kill you too, don't you see? This thing is not a child, it's a storm, and storms do not stop until they destroy everything." The creature snarled at the scientist, its voice deepening. "Not storm I. Me." It slammed its claw into the wall, tearing through solid steel as though it were paper. Sparks exploded across the room. The scientist screamed. Scrambling backward in terror, the human raised his blade again, his voice sharp. "Enough." The creature froze, its golden eyes locked on the human once more. Slowly, it stepped back from the wall, breathing heavy, but obeying. For now, it was listening. Then, the heavy steel door at the far end burst open. A squad of alien soldiers stormed. Inside, their weapons glowed bright, aiming at the creature. Their leader shouted, "Contain it. Kill it, if necessary." The creature roared, the sound shaking the entire lab. It crouched low, ready to attack. Its eyes burned hotter. Its body swelled larger. The human stepped forward, standing between the soldiers and the monster, his blade raised, his voice thundered. Across the chaos, "Stop. Don't shoot." The soldiers hesitated, their weapons shaking. None of them expected the human to protect the creature. The alien scientists screamed in disbelief. "What are you doing? It will destroy us all." The human stood tall, his eyes blazing with determination. "Not if it listens to me," he said. His voice was steady. Unshaken behind him, the creature growled low, its claws digging into the floor. Its body was trembling. Between rage and restraint, its golden eyes locked on the human once again. And in that moment, everyone in the room realized a terrifying truth. The human was the only thing keeping the creature from unleashing hell. The lab was shaking with noise, red lights still flashing as the alien soldiers raised their weapons. The human stood between them and the creature, his blade firm, his body steady. His voice thundered above the chaos. "Don't shoot." But soldiers were trained to obey orders, not questions. Their leader shouted, "Fire!" And glowing blasts filled the air. The creature roared with fury. Its body expanded in a violent surge. Veins glowing like rivers of fire, the blast slammed into its chest, but instead of falling, the monster grew stronger, absorbing the energy into its pulsing skin. The soldiers gasped in shock, some even stepping back in fear. The human's eyes widened. It feeds on energy, he realized. His mind raced. This wasn't a simple beast, it was adapting, learning, changing with every second. The alien scientist screamed, grabbing the human's arm, "We must run." Now. The creature struck back, slashing its claws across the air. A single swipe tore through steel walls like paper. Soldiers were thrown across the room, weapons shattered, smoke and fire erupted as alarms screamed louder. The human pulled the scientist away from the chaos. The two darted down a side corridor as the creature tore free of the lab. Its massive body smashed through walls, chasing them with speed no one expected from its size. "Why is it following us?" the human demanded as he ran. The scientist panted, his voice breaking. "Because of you. Don't you see? It called you father. It sees you as part of itself. Wherever you go, it will follow." The human clenched his jaw, his heart pounded, not from fear, but from the weight of responsibility. "Then I'll lead it away," he muttered. The pursuit began through the alien city. The human and scientist raced through dark alleys lit by glowing street crystals. Behind them, the creature's roar shattered windows. Its footsteps crushed stone roads as panicked citizens screamed and scattered. Alien guards rushed in from every direction, firing energy blasts at the monster. But every strike only made it stronger. Each hit fueled its growth. Its body swelled taller, its claws sharper. Its eyes brighter. The scientist stumbled, nearly falling. The human grabbed him and pulled him forward. "Keep moving," he shouted. "This is hopeless." The scientist cried. "Every second it grows stronger. Soon it will be unstoppable. You must let me go. Let me face punishment. And maybe they will destroy it with me." The human shook his head fiercely. "No. This isn't about punishment anymore. This is survival." The creature's massive form loomed behind them, snarling. Its voice rumbled like thunder. "Father, don't run." The human's breath caught in his chest. The word echoed through the streets. The monster's voice wasn't just sound, was pain, confusion, and longing. It wasn't simply chasing to kill. It was chasing because it didn't want to be abandoned. The human glanced back. His blade gleamed in the city lights. His instincts told him to fight, but his heart whispered something else. If it truly carried part of him, could it be reached? Suddenly, explosions rocked the sky. Warships descended above the city. Their cannons locked onto the creature. The alien authorities had decided containment had failed. Now they would burn the monster and everything near it to ash. The scientist screamed, covering his head as blasts rained down. Streets cracked, buildings collapsed. The creature roared in rage and agony, its body glowing brighter as it absorbed more and more power. The human realized the terrible truth. This continued. The monster wouldn't die. It would grow until nothing could stop it. He grabbed the scientist's arm, dragging him into a collapsed tunnel. They slid into the shadows as blasts shook the ground above. Dust and ash rained down around them. The human's voice was low but strong. If it came from me, then maybe I'm the only one who can end this. The scientist's eyes widened, fear and hope colliding in his trembling voice. Or, control it, he whispered. The human stared at him, his jaw clenched, his eyes narrowed. You think it can be controlled? The scientist nodded weakly. Perhaps not controlled, but guided. It responds to you. It hesitates when you command it. Maybe you are the key. Maybe you can lead it away from destruction. Above them, the creature roared again. It's massive. Shadow passing over the ruins, soldiers fired endlessly, but every blast only made it grow more monstrous. Citizens screamed as the streets shook under its fury. The human's heart pounded. He thought of the word the creature had spoken, Father. That single word carried a bond, one that could not be erased. But was it a bond of love or of doom? The scientist gripped his shoulder, desperation in his voice. You must decide now. Kill it or lead it. There is no time left. The human tightened his grip on the blade. His eyes lifted to the ruined streets above. He could hear the monster's steps, heavy and unrelenting, searching for him, calling for him. Slowly, he rose from the shadows, his voice firm, steady. If it's truly part of me, then I'll face it, not as prey, not as enemy, but as something I must take responsibility for. The scientist shook his head, terror in his eyes. You don't understand. If you fail, you won't just die. An entire world will fall with you. The human didn't answer. His steps carried him toward the shaking streets above, toward the glowing monster that called him father. And as he climbed, the creature's roar split the sky. The pursuit was no longer just about survival. It was about destiny. The humans planned the streets burned with fire. Soldiers shouted orders. Warships thundered overhead. And the city was drowning in fear. The humans stood on the cracked road, dust and ash falling like black snow around him. His blade glimmered faintly in the chaos. Across the ruined square, the creature loomed tall, its glowing veins pulsing like rivers of light under its unstable skin. Its golden eyes locked onto the human instantly, ignoring everything else, ignoring soldiers, fire or screams. It only saw him. Father, the creature rumbled. Its voice rolled across the city like thunder. Stay. The human didn't move. His jaw was tight, his heart pounding. He had faced beasts before, but this was not the same. This one spoke, this one listened, and worse, this one carried something of him inside. The alien scientist stumbled up beside him. His body was shaking. From exhaustion, his voice cracked with terror. This is madness. You cannot reason with it. Look at it. It is feeding on every attack, every weapon. The more they strike, the more it grows. The human's eyes narrowed. He had already noticed. The soldier's energy blasts weren't weakening the monster. They were fueling it, making it stronger. Taller, more violent, the human muttered, half to himself. Then no more energy, no more feeding. The scientist blinked in confusion. What are you saying? The human turned sharply, his voice low but steady. It listens to me. It hesitates when I speak. That means there's a weakness. It carries human blood, human memory. That's the part I can reach. The scientist shook his head wildly. You don't understand. It is not a child. It is a mistake, a nightmare. It doesn't think like you. It doesn't feel like you. You cannot. The human cut him off. His voice firm. If I can't control it, then no one can. But I'm not going to kill it without trying. Not until I know. The creature roared, suddenly lifting its massive claws. The soldiers scattered as rubble exploded around them. The human stepped forward instead of back, his voice sharp, commanding, "Stop." And to the shock of everyone, the monster froze, its golden eyes locked. On the human, its claws trembled, its chest heaved as if struggling to obey. The scientist gasped. "It listens." The human's voice lowered, but it carried strength. "You don't need to fight. You don't need to destroy. Come with me." The creature tilted its head, confused. The word it repeated was broken but clear. "With you." "Yes," the human said, nodding slowly, "but only if you stop. No more killing. No more growing stronger from their weapons. Listen to me instead, for a moment." The monster seemed to hesitate. Its glowing veins dimmed slightly. Its claws lowered. The soldiers stared in disbelief, holding their fire. The alien commander barked an order, but none dared to shoot. None wanted to break whatever spell the human had over the beast. The scientist tugged on the human's arm, whispering urgently, "You can't lead it into the city. If it follows you blindly, it will destroy everything around you. We need to trap it somewhere far, somewhere it cannot feed the humans." Mind raced, his eyes darted toward the smoking skyline. He remembered the reactor facility on the edge of the city abandoned after an accident years ago. A place filled with silence, a place with no weapons, no power. If he could lure the creature there, maybe he could keep it from growing. "Yes," he whispered to himself, his plan forming. "I'll lead it there." The scientist stared at him in horror. "Are you insane? The reactor is unstable. If you bring that thing near it, the entire city could vanish in fire." The human's voice was calm but fierce. "Better one chance than none. If I do nothing, the city falls anyway. If I fight here, soldiers will. Keep firing, and it will keep growing." His eyes hardened. "This is the only way." The scientist's lips trembled, his eyes filled with fear. You sound like it's yours, like you care for it." The human's gaze lingered on the creature. The word "father" echoed in his ears. He didn't answer the scientist, because deep inside he wasn't sure himself. The creature lowered its head, its massive frame leaned closer. Its golden eyes glowed softer as it whispered again. "With you," the human nodded firmly. "Yes, with me." His voice carried across the square. "Follow." The monster obeyed. Soldiers gasped and backed away as the giant creature stepped slowly after the human like an obedient beast. Its claws dragged across the stone, its body still glowing, but its rage cooling. The alien commander shouted, "Stop him. Don't let him lead that thing away." But no soldier moved. None wanted to provoke the monster now. Not when it was listening. Not when only the human's voice kept it calm. The scientist whispered shakily, "If this fails, everything ends," the human replied without looking. "Back then, let's make sure it doesn't fail." He began leading the creature through the shattered streets, past broken towers and smoking rubble. Every step was watched by terrified citizens. Every breath was a gamble. The monster followed, close behind. Growling softly but obeying, the scientist hurried alongside, whispering, "It's not just listening, it's learning. Every word you give, it understands faster. Be careful, human. If it learns too much, it may not need you anymore." The human didn't reply, his eyes fixed on the horizon where the old reactor stood. His mind steady, his voice calm as he repeated to the monster, "With me, stay with me." And so, through a burning city that dared not move, a human walked forward, and a monster followed like a shadow. The plan had begun. But whether it would save the city or destroy a town, the next step would tell. The final confrontation, the old reactor stood at the edge of the city, a skeleton of metal and broken towers. Its walls were blackened from an explosion long ago, and the air carried the scent of rust and ash. No one lived here, no one dared. It was the perfect graveyard for a plan that had to succeed. The human led the way across the cracked ground, his blade at his side. His steps steady behind him, the creature followed. Massive and glowing like a walking storm, each of its steps cracked the earth. Its golden eyes never leaving the human. The alien scientist staggered along, his voice trembling. This is madness. If that thing feeds on the reactor, it will not just grow, will become something the galaxy has never seen. Do you understand what you are risking? The human's jaw tightened. His eyes stayed forward. I understand, he said calmly. But here, no one will attack it. No one will feed it with their weapons. Here, I face it alone. The scientist stopped in his tracks, staring at him. You mean to fight it here, don't you? The human didn't answer, but his silence was enough. They reached the heart of the reactor ruins. A vast chamber of steel and shattered glass stretched above them. The old core stood silent, dead for years. The human stepped into the center, then turned to face the creature. The monster halted. Its golden eyes flickered. Its chest rose and fell. It tilted its head, confused. Father, why here? The human's voice was steady, but his heart was heavy, because here it ends. The creature blinked slowly, then growled. Its massive claws flexed, and me? Yes, the human said firmly. His blade glowed faintly in the dying light. Unless you can stop what's inside you, unless you can stop the hunger. The creature's body shuddered. Its veins pulsed brighter. Its form grew taller. Its voice cracked with rage. Hunger never stops. I never stop, the scientist shouted from the shadows. Do you see now? It cannot be saved. Destroy it before it's too late. The human raised his blade, but his eyes stayed locked on the monster. His voice cut through the silence. Then, if you can't stop, I will stop you, the creature roared, the sound shaking the reactor walls. It lunged forward, claws striking like thunder. The human rolled aside, steel screeching as the claws tore through the floor. He sprang to his feet, his blade slashing across the monster's arm. Sparks and blood-like lights sprayed into the air. The creature howled, its body twisted, growing even as it bled. Its glowing veins spread wider. Its strength doubled. It smashed its claw into a wall. Collapsing steel around them, the human darted between falling debris. His strikes were fast, precise, cutting across the monster's legs and chest. Each wound slowed it only for a heartbeat before the glow returned stronger than before. Father, why hurt me? The monster bellowed. Its golden eyes burned with rage, but also sorrow. The human's chest tightened. He could feel it, the bond, the strange connection. But he forced his voice steady. Because you will destroy everything if I don't. The fight raged through the reactor. Steel towers collapsed. Fire burst from broken pipes. The scientist scrambled for cover. Screaming as debris rained around him, the creature charged, its massive claws slamming down. The human barely dodged, rolling across the floor. His blade cut deep into the monster's side. The beast howled in pain, but even as it staggered, it grew taller. Its head scraping the broken ceiling, the human's breath came heavy. His body ached. His strength was fading. He knew he couldn't outlast it, not this way. His eyes darted to the reactor's dead core. A plan sparked in his mind. Dangerous, but the only chance. He shouted, his voice echoing. You call me father then. Listen to me. Follow me, now. The creature froze for a moment. Its massive head lowered. Its eyes flickered with confusion. It hesitated, then lumbered after him. The human sprinted toward the old reactor core. His boots pounded on steel. His blade gleamed. As he slashed open a sealed hatch, sparks burst, ancient circuits awakening. The scientist screamed, "What are you doing? The reactor will not hold." The human shouted back, "That's the point." The monster entered the core chamber, its body glowing so bright the walls lit like fire. The human turned, blade ready. His voice thundered. "This ends here, one way or another," the creature snarled, its voice deeper than ever. "If I end, you end too, Father." The human raised his blade, fire in his eyes. "Then so be it." With a roar, the monster charged. The human leaped forward, blade flashing. Their clash shook the reactor. Sparks and flames lit the darkness. The monster's claws tore through steel. The human's strikes cut through glowing flesh. The reactor walls trembled. Warning lights flashed. Ancient energy stirred awake. The scientists screamed, the Queenorix overloading. But neither the human nor the monster stopped. Their battle was no longer just about survival. It was about blood, about creation, about the bond between maker and mistake, parent and child. At last, the human forced the monster back against the reactor core, his blade buried deep in its chest. The creature roared in agony, its glowing veins flaring like a dying sun. "Father," it cried, its golden eyes wide, not with rage now, but with pain and betrayal. The human's voice broke as he shouted, "I'm sorry." The reactor screamed with power. The walls glowed, the ground shook, and then, with a blinding flash, everything vanished into light. The aftermath. The world was silent. The reactor chamber, once filled with fire and roars, now lay in ruins. A gray haze hung in the air, dust swirling through beams of broken light. The floor was cracked, the walls half melted, and the silence carried a strange weight as if the earth itself was holding its breath. The alien scientist coughed, crawling from under a slab of metal. His body shook, his face smeared with ash. He looked around wildly, his voice trembling. "Human. Human." No answer, only the groan of bending steel and the hiss of steam. His eyes widened with fear. "The creature? Where is it?" He staggered forward, tripping over debris. His hands shook as he pushed away broken wires and shattered glass. In his heart, he prayed that the monster was gone, truly gone, and then he froze. His eyes caught the shape of a body, burned but still moving. The human lay on the cracked ground, his chest rising and falling weakly, his blade broken beside him. His clothes torn, his face pale but alive. The scientist gasped, relief flooding his chest. He rushed forward and fell to his knees beside him. "You survived," he whispered. "By the stars, you survived." The human's eyes opened slowly. Heavy with exhaustion, he coughed, pain shaking his chest. His voice was hoarse but steady. "The creature?" The scientist glanced around quickly. His fear returned. I don't know. I don't see it. Perhaps the core destroyed it." The ground trembled suddenly. A deep groan echoed through the ruins. Dust fell from the ceiling. The scientist's heart raced. His trembling hands pointed. "No, look." From the rubble, a shadow stirred. A massive claw pushed through the broken steel. Then another. The creature rose slowly, its glowing veins dim, its body smaller than before, but still terrifying. Its golden eyes flickered weakly. The scientist screamed, "It's alive." He scrambled back in terror. "We cannot kill it. Not even the reactor could kill it." The human forced himself up onto one knee. His body screamed in pain, but he clenched his teeth, his eyes fixed on the creature. His heart heavy. The monster looked at him, its voice weak, broken, but clear. "Father?" The human froze. His blade was shattered, his strength nearly gone. He knew he couldn't fight anymore. And yet the creature didn't attack. It staggered, its claws dragging against the ground, its body trembling like a wounded child. The scientist cried out, "End it. Now, before it recovers, before it grows again." But the human didn't move. His eyes stayed locked on the monster, his voice low, steady. Why didn't you finish me?" The creature tilted its head, its golden eyes flickered, its words slow and pained. "You hurt me. But you, mine?" The scientist shouted, furious. "It's lying. It will kill us both. Don't you see? It only knows destruction." The human shook his head faintly. His voice was soft. "No, it knows more than that. It chose not to kill me when it could." The creature lowered itself to the ground, its massive claws curling in, its glowing veins dimming further. Its chest rose and fell like a slowing drum. "I don't want to grow any more," it whispered. The scientist's mouth fell open. His entire body froze in disbelief. "Impossible," he muttered. "It cannot choose, it cannot," but it had. The human could see it in its eyes. For the first time, the monster wasn't feeding, wasn't fighting, wasn't destroying. It was simply tired. The human forced himself to stand, staggering on weak legs. He stepped closer. Ignoring the scientist's frantic cries, he placed a hand gently on the monster's scorched skin. Its surface was hot, cracked, but beneath the fire there was still life. "You called me father," the human said softly, his voice heavy with both pain and strange compassion. "Then listen to me now. Rest, end this hunger, end this fight." The creature's golden eyes blinked slowly. Its massive body shuddered. Then, for the first time, it lowered its head completely to the ground, like a child bowing before a parent. A low sound rumbled from its throat, not a growl, but something close to a sigh. The scientist stood frozen, his eyes wide. His voice came out in a whisper. "You tamed it." The human shook his head slowly. "No, not tamed, just heard." The ruins were silent again. Only the sound of the monster's fading breath filled the chamber. Its glow dimmed further, its massive form shrinking slightly, almost as if it was choosing at last to stop. The scientist staggered forward, his voice filled with awe and fear. "What now? Do we keep it? Do we hide it? The council will never allow this. They will hunt it. They will hunt us both." The human's eyes stayed on the fading creature, his voice firm. "Then we don't tell them. Not yet. Not until it learns what it is. Not until it chooses what it wants to be." The scientist stared, trembling. "You would protect it? After everything?" The human looked at him, his eyes sharp. "I protect life. Even broken life. Even mistakes." The creature's golden eyes closed slowly, its voice barely a whisper. "Father, stay." The human placed his hand on its skin one last time, his voice quiet but steady. "I'll stay." The reactor ruins grew still. The fires dimmed, the silence returned. The alien scientist stood in shock, unable to comprehend what had just happened. But the human understood. He hadn't destroyed the monster. He hadn't won by force. He had chosen something harder: mercy. And as the alien city trembled with fear of what might come, only one truth echoed in the ruins. The bond between human and creation was not finished. It had only just begun.